It's back day. The best day, my favorite day. We got to get right into it. We're a little pressed for time. Not too bad. Let's go right for some hangs, some scapula pulls, warm up, a couple sets of warm up. Then we're going to triple set, or no, not triple set, but 3 rounds of inverted shrugs in a pike position and front lever tuck rows. And then we'll finish with a set of pull-ups, max reps, and scapula swings. So 10 sets total as usual, and we'll go from there. Or that'll be it. Alright. Nice hang. Always a good way to get the back day started. Just hang, get the scapula warmed up, get those tendons and ligaments kind of going, and get ready for the more serious work. Now, next set will be a set of 7 positions. That's what I call it, where you just kind of come down, pull your upper body like this, which you'll see in a moment. So I'm at a receiver right now, waiting on a door. I got here 2 hours early, which is always the way to do it. Always try to be early if you can. So they may call me in for a door here pretty soon while I'm doing my workout, and I'll have to interrupt it and go and back into the dock, and then continue on when I wait to get unloaded. Either way, it doesn't really matter. You just got to do things the way you got to do them so you can get things done. Anyways, let's do some 7 positions here in a hollow body. Those felt pretty good. That's a pretty tough exercise, and not something you see. I don't know if I've ever seen anybody do it at the gym or something, but it is pretty basic when it comes to like acrobatic training, acrobatic strength training, which I have a background in as a former flying trapeze artist. That's something we did is you're in your swing, and in the back part of the swing, you kind of press down into that 7 position to kind of build swing, and then a bunch of other stuff I'm not going to go into right now because it's not important. But that's my style of training, is bodyweight training, calisthenics, with an acrobatic flair. I'm gonna keep this moving. So now, it's gonna go right into it. I'm gonna do a inverted shrugs in a quasi pike position. Goes something like this. Okay. Inverted. Here's your pike. And then shrug. Good for the upper back, the traps. And I'm trying to keep this pike position just enough where I can get a bit of a hamstring stretch as I do it. And then keep the L-sit all the way down. That's that. See? Easy. Easy stuff. Now we'll do a set of, I always forget the name of these off the top of my head, because the blood rushes up into my head when I'm in that inverted position, then it runs down out of my head, so I can't think what I'm doing. So I was a little sore yesterday, more than usual. I was sore in the legs and the shoulders, and it was going to be a leg day, because right now what I'm doing a leg day, back, leg day, arms, and I just kind of hit chest whenever I can. Not real hard, because I don't really need to. I also practice handstands in the evening and do some other stuff that's heavy pressing movements. So I don't really need to do a lot of chest specific work. I also need to let my shoulders kind of rehab a little bit. So I just kind of hit chest whenever I can, whenever I get some space outside, just do a bunch of push-ups, and I'll do those every 2 or 3 days. So it still works out about the same balance. But yesterday I was far more sore than I usually am. So I woke up, had a couple hours to kill, just went out for a walk, did some stretching, skipped some rope. Then I did my driving for the day and did about 20 minutes of stretching. So still worked out, still did stuff, didn't skip it. I just changed it based on how my body was feeling. Now I'm feeling good, I'm feeling well rested. Back to my usual routine, get back day today, leg day tomorrow, and just keep it going. But make adjustments along the way and do what you feel your body needs to do. Okay, this is set number 4. We'll do some front lever tuck rows. We'll do them on the bar, this one. We might switch to the rings, do them on the rings, but I haven't done this in the bar the last few times, so I'll do that now. Go up and do an inverted tuck, and go to an open tuck, and row. So these front lever tuck rows on the bar is actually a little bit harder than on the rings, because in order to do them and get any range of motion, you have to stay in that open tuck position. Because as you bring your knees in closer to your chest, it gets easier, because it's kind of style body weight training. It's all about leverage. As you open up the legs to a more open tuck position, or even go into a full open position, like a straddle, we're going to do a point where you can legs are straight, which I've never seen someone my size do, especially my age. But very difficult. I mean, I see guys do it. It's very impressive. They can do a full what do you call it? Front lever row, where the body is straight and they're just rowing like that. Extremely difficult. I'm working on getting there. Don't know if I will, but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna train for it. Just keep going. Into a round of inverted pike bodyweight shrugs. That was a good finish. Trying to keep the arms as straight as possible as you come down, keeping the legs straight into that kind of L-sit hang. Tough to do. A lot of abdominal strength. That's why when you train this way, I've mentioned it before, but there's no reason to do any real direct abdominal work. I like the closest thing I do to direct abdominal work, which is not an exercise I do very often. It's called windshield wipers, where you hang in that front lever position with your legs up straight, and you just swing your legs side to side, like a windshield wiper. Hence the name windshield wipers. So I got another appointment today at 3 p.m., about 250 miles away. Don't know if I'll be able to make it, but I did everything I know I can do to at least make it possible. But from now on, from this point, it's not up to me. It's how quickly I get unloaded at my receiving appointment here. If they get me out of here by like 10, 11 o'clock, I can probably make it, but this is a very, very large distribution center, and sometimes these places can take a while. So we'll see. Sometimes all you can do is the best you can and just let the chips fall where they may. Something I'm learning to deal with, because I usually kind of stress out about these situations a little bit, but I really have no control. I can only do what I can do. I got here 2 hours early to my appointment, so if I can get in the door early, it'll help to make my next appointment, but I have no control at this point. So we'll see how it goes. I haven't done them. I've been doing those on the rings the last probably few weeks, maybe more. And I can definitely tell the difference. Doing them on a bar, much more difficult. Rings, like I said, it's easier. You can bring your knees in more. You don't have to clear the bar with your knees in front of them. So I'll have to switch to doing those for a little while. Switch back and forth. Like I said, a lot of these movements are similar. They're just basic. You've got pull down, pull to the chest, then up, like the shrugs are doing. You know, you just got basically 3 different directions to hit your back from all different angles to focus on different muscle groups. Like I said, the inverted shrugs are more for the traps, and then the rows, that's just an overall back builder right there. Then you got the pull-ups, where that works more directly your lats. But it's all basic stuff. None of it's real, you know, complicated or advanced. It definitely takes a decent amount of strength to do this kind of back workout. That's something to build up to over time. But switching from doing them on the bar to doing them on the rings where your hands are more of a neutral position, there's benefits to that too, because you're working the muscles in a slightly different way, which helps alleviate that repetitive stress, fatigue on your tendons and ligaments, which you'll get over time if you do keep doing the same thing over and over the exact same way. You just keep adding reps or adding weight. That's where you kind of run into these problems with your tendons and ligaments, and that slows you down. When you make these slight changes, like just changing your grip, it can be the same exercise with a different grip, that's just enough to stress the muscles and tendons and ligaments in a slightly different way, where they don't get that repetitive stress, fatigue, which kind of leads to tweaks, but then that leads to injury. Things you got to think about, especially when it's all body weight, because body weight you can train quite a bit more often, but because of that you have to be careful of that repetitive stress injuries. Same with lifting weights. Lifting weights is a bit different, but when you get injured lifting weights, it's often more immediate. And that's the advantage of bodyweight training, is if you start, you'll just start to feel little tweaks, and before it leads to an injury, you can kind of back off, change things up a little bit. Or with weights, if you're lifting heavy, it can happen quite suddenly, and then you got like a serious injury to contend with. Anyways, enough about that. We're on set number 7 now. This is going to be a real hard back workout, but enough. I got a good pump going. Endorphins are kicking in. So I put the rings up a little higher than usual, which is making it much easier to finish in that L sit. So I'm gonna keep doing that. It's a constant process of making little tweaks and changes as you go, as you improve. Keep doing everything you're doing in a more improved manner at a higher level. just keeps evolving over time. So we've got 7 rounds down, 3 more to go. The next 2 rounds are going to be my hardest. Got 1 more set of front lever tuck rows. We're going to do a set of pull-ups. We're going to be going through a good range of motion failure on these next 2, because these are my 2 hard working sets. These are the strength building sets. And then we got the scapula swings to finish things off. Just a good finisher, helps build shoulder health and just strength all around the scapula. And that's kind of where I'm going right now. I got 10 total sets for back. First 3 sets are kind of warm up. Then you got about 4 sets of just kind of working sets, get that pump, get settled in. And then 2 or 3 sets of hard working, like hard strength building sets. Then you got 1 warm ups. Then you got another last set to kind of finish things off. And it's more of a prehab, rehab type of thing, which is what the scapula swings are for. And then some stretching, and then you're done. Nice, quick, and efficient. All that being said, let's do this set of front lever tuck rows. So there's the tuck pull, open tuck position, rows. Woo! So, that's what I mean from going to range of failure. First 2 reps, my knees were going above the bar. Last couple reps, wasn't much movement at all. And that's failure through the most of the range of motion. Not real hard, but you gotta put some real effort into it. And that's when you're training body weight, that's kind of how you go to failure. Is once your form and range of motion starts to break down, that's good. I mean, that's how gymnasts train. And I used to actually coach gymnastics. So, it's a very effective way to stay shape, build muscle, build some strength. You're not gonna become a big, huge bodybuilder doing this kind of training, but it will keep you in great shape, especially as you get older. Keeps the body going strong for a long time. Then you don't get those health problems that some of those guys get who focus too much on building muscle and building strength at the expense of everything else. There's another bodybuilder known for being just absolutely huge. He was like 6 foot tall, over 300 pounds, died at 36 of a heart attack. And when you're 6 feet tall and over 300 pounds, even if it's muscle, and I admire the work ethic that goes into that. That is a serious, serious commitment to get to that level. But there are health risks when you take it that far. That's why I'm more into the old school style of bodybuilding, like from the 30s and 40s and 50s, kind of from the bronze era to the silver era, a little bit of the golden era, but that's when the pharmaceutical enhancements started to come into play. But the bronze era and silver era, it really was more about overall health. They wanted to be strong, but they also wanted to be healthy. You know, that's the era that Jack LaLanne came from. He was healthy and strong his whole life, up until like the last week in his mid-90s. That's what I'm aiming for. So strong and muscular, but overall you got good health. You're not completely obsessed with being as big as possible, getting as shredded as possible. You know, you want strength, you want muscle, you know, relatively low body fat, but not to the point where you're obsessive about it. You know, and it starts getting mentally weird. That's not cool. That's not where I'm trying to go. And I don't think most other people want to do that either. I mean, most other people would. Most people, if they could just find 10, 20, maybe 30 minutes a day to train maximum, and just be in great health for all their lives, that'd be great. If we could just get the majority of the population to do that, we'd be in a far better position overall as a society than we are now. Anyways, enough preaching. gonna go a little wide on these. This is a set of chin-ups or pull-ups all the way to failure. I'm gonna go right until I can barely get my nose to the bar. And then we'll do a hollow body, make it a little more difficult. Okay, that was good. I had to take a bit of a longer break on that than usual. That's good. Means I'm doing it right. All right, last set here, scapula swings. Nice finishing move for the back. Let's do 10 reps. Nice and easy. It was actually a tougher workout than I was planning on, but hey, if you can do it that way, it's a good way to do it. Let's get some stretching done. The usual stretches. Stretch the shoulders, the chest, biceps a little bit right here. Tricep stretch, triceps and lats right here. Pull the top bunk down. I'm going to do a quick calf stretch. Might as well. As much sitting as I do all throughout the day. I always try to work in some leg stretches all throughout the day. Helps keep the blood flowing. I'll stretch out the back and the lats. Move the hips side to side. Stretch out each side of the back. Lower back a little bit. Tilt the hips forward and back. Helps alleviate that compression you get throughout the day from sitting too much. Alright, man, solid workout. That's gonna do it. See you next time.